we're going to switch gears from Russell Wilson to another guy that Brandon Marshall loves very much, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Because Aaron Rodgers recently sat down with CBS New York and gave a little bit of information about Zach Wilson and says that he plans to pass the torch to him when he's all said and done with football or the Jets. Just take a look at this.
Being able to win here would be really, really special. But why limit it to one? You know, I don't plan on this being a one and done. So I think we're going to be competitive here for a long time. I'd like to be able to play a few good years here and then hand it right back off to Zach and let him go for the next 15, and it'd be a really special, 18 to 20-year run of great quarterback play.
So if you weren't able to listen to that, basically what he said was he plans to play, quote, a few good years and then pass the torch back to Zach Wilson for the next 15 plus years. I think it's a very nice sentiment. Aaron, I love this new leaf that you have turned over. You were once very standoffish and aloof, and now you're just like this nice, kind of cuddly, just teddy bear that people want to hang out with. You know, you're wearing chains, you got handshakes with your teammates, you're laughing, you're smiling, you're looking fantastic shape, but you're a little bit off your rocker here. I don't know if it's the ayahuasca, you took too much. 15 plus years of Zach Wilson, are you for real? Zach Wilson will be lucky if he's there next season.
Well, so here's what I would say.
And when Aaron Rodgers passes the torch, Brandon, there are going to be a lot of other quarterbacks that have come in and out of the draft. Zach Wilson will be a forgotten thought. 15 plus years of Zach Wilson, that means you think he's your franchise quarterback when you hang it up? You're nuts.
So look, the market always corrects itself, okay? And then also, I think that, you know, and well, it's not think, the NFL is a copycat league. So now teams are going out drafting these high-profile quarterbacks in the first round, top of the round, and they're expecting them to play right away. They're expecting them to be Andrew Luck. They're expecting them to be, you know, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, right? But the reality is, if you go back to like where we always were, quarterbacks used to sit. Aaron Rodgers sat. You understand? So like, maybe Aaron Rodgers, you know, could have got it done in year 2, year 3. He sat a couple years behind Brett Favre. But I would say that he learned a lot, good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I like this. And I do believe Zach Wilson can play. 15 years is a lot. But basically what he's saying is, look, this kid is good enough to where he can be the face of the franchise for a very long time. Whether that's 10 years or 15 years, I think that's the message that Aaron Rodgers is saying. He has all the intangibles. Like, he has the flair, he has the fortitude. No, I can't say that. I said that when he was coming out in the draft. I was about to say he has the fortitude for the big city. But we saw him buckle a little bit last year when the pressure, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit start hitting the fan. You know, Zach Wilson starts shriveling up a little bit. But I do believe that he has the oomph and the strength to be able to deal with that New York market. But you're talking about talent, super talented. The difference between guys like him and Aaron Rodgers is more so like mindset and IQ. So now sitting back and not having the pressure and the weight of the franchise on you and learning from Aaron Rodgers, he absolutely, if he's patient, if he and his team is patient, he absolutely could be the quarterback that he passes it to. And it could be sooner rather than later, because if the Jets go out there and win the Super Bowl this year, I think this man retires and he passes the torch. If they don't, I think you get 2 years out of Aaron Rodgers, maybe 3. So now Zach Wilson's going in year 4, year 5. Perfect timing for this young man. Baker Mayfield rushed. I felt like Baker Mayfield should have stayed with the Rams. The Rams was high on him. This organization really loved what he did, and he could have been passed the torch. I think that if Zach Wilson doesn't rush this and try to play, and because there's going to be other opportunities, right? If he stays, this could be a perfect storyline for the Jets and Zach Wilson.
I totally disagree. I think that you've seen what Zach Wilson is as a starting quarterback prior to Aaron Rodgers getting there. And look, I will say a lot of the things that went wrong were not his fault. The team was kind of in a weird space. Coaching was in a weird space. Not all of the fault falls on Zach Wilson. Not going to do that. You saw bits and pieces of who he was and what he could do. And yes, it was enough to kind of say if he had X, Y, and Z, he could be X, Y, and Z. But he didn't. He wasn't. Aaron Rodgers comes in. And also, before we even get to Aaron Rodgers, let's not ignore the fact that the locker room did not like him.
That's true. They turned on him.
The quarterback, the success relies on two things: his talent, actually a few things, his talent, the coaching staff, the team, but also his ability to relate and have a relationship with his teammates, as you know. The locker room could not stand this guy. They did not have a relationship with him. They didn't want to develop a relationship with him. How do you go ahead and garner success when the guys that you are responsible for leading don't want to be around you? So I can understand, yes, in terms of talent, in terms of molding and developing talent, you can go ahead and say Aaron Rodgers would be perfect for him. I agree with that. But I still don't think that would make him the quarterback that the Jets need. I think Zach Wilson, at best, is a backup quarterback. He is not a franchise quarterback. And if he is not a franchise quarterback in a New York market. Maybe Minnesota. Maybe something that's a little bit more off the grid.
Well, the first question we have to ask ourselves, right? Does he have the physical talent? Does Zach Wilson have the physical talent to be?
Yes.
Okay, so great. Super talented, and you can see it now, right? Like, he's throwing the ball, like, he always had that flair. He was always a fan of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Now, what he's doing in the pocket, throwing off one leg, side arm, like, he's literally taking, you know, he's modeling his game after Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so he has the talent. Sitting on the sideline, right? Because there's two things you talked about. You talked about, you know, can he go out there and correct his mistakes from when he started? So there's the mental mistakes, sitting on a bench behind a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer will give you the opportunity to do that, right? Not everyone takes advantage of it, and some people just don't have it, right? Some people are just slow blinkers. They will never get it. But I believe Zach Wilson has the IQ to be able to sit back and process without the pressure and say, damn, okay, this is how I go through my progressions. This is how you go through a 2-minute drive, or this is how you communicate with your teammates. Now let's go to the teammates. Humility. Sometimes you got to be humble. That was the problem. So you're absolutely right. So I can see Zach Wilson sitting back saying, fuck, I went through a lot last year. And this is one of the most humbling moments of my career, of my life, and fixing those things. Aaron Rodgers was the same guy. You just talked about that.
I think that Aaron
Rodgers haven't always been liked by everybody and even his teammates, but now look at him.
He hasn't, but you can't be unlikable and not talented.
True.
You got to pick a struggle. You know what I mean? Like, you can be, people cannot like you, but you are just a freak of nature. Like, you bring wins. Michael Jordan wasn't always liked by his teammates,
but he was good.
But he was a winner. So that overrode the fact that you didn't always like him because he won. Zach Wilson can't be unlikable and then stink up the joint. That's not how that works. I truthfully believe, is the physical talent there? Yes. But physical talent doesn't always equal success.
So you don't believe in forgiveness? You don't believe that people can change?
I don't think that this is not like he did any.
It is.
No, it's not. Forgiveness for what?
But what I'm saying, basically you're saying,
forgive him for not being a right fit.
You're saying the kid had mono, first off, right? Like
oh my God, Brandon, I had mono in high school.
But
I was okay in a week.
But he missed so much time, so that I think the first year he might have had mono. The second year, I think that may have been him. Can we look at his injury history? And then, like, the second year, he dealt with something, he came out and dealing with all the other things. But I brought up forgiveness and, you know, you don't believe people can change because the kid had a rocky start to his career.
Right.
Now being able to sit back and think about, like, how do I get better? You've changed. You've worked on yourself, right?
No, but what I'm saying is sometimes, look at Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was given a crap hand when he was with the Jets.
That's
and
right.
when I interviewed now Chosen Anderson, he said the same thing, that Sam Darnold was given a crap chance with the Jets. He got to Carolina, and that was supposed to be what? his second coming, his revival. It wasn't. Your physical talent doesn't always equal success when it comes to being a starter quarterback. I can give you another example. Look at Josh Rosen.
Okay.
Josh Rosen has
He was trash. He was trash. That was a mistake. They should have never drafted that guy in the first round. Never drafted that guy.
What I'm saying is Zach Wilson, yes. Does he have physical talent? Does he have certain attributes that make him, that on paper make him a great starting quarterback? Yes. Can he get better? Yes. Can the leadership of Aaron Rodgers help him get better? Yes. Do I think that he will be the franchise quarterback that leads the New York Jets for X amount of years? I don't. You're also negating the fact that a lot can happen in 2-3 years. Let's say Aaron Rodgers plays, let's say he plays 4 or 5 more years.
He's not playing 4 or 5 more
well, okay,
years,
let's
but
say
go
he
ahead.
plays
If you want to do that,
let's
go.
just do an even number. Let's say, not an even number. Let's do an easy number. Let's say he plays 5 more years minimum.
Okay.
Okay? 4 to 5 more years.
Okay.
You mean to tell me in 4 to 5 years that there may not be a quarterback that comes up through the draft that makes you forget Zach Wilson even exists? You're putting a lot of stock that there aren't going to be better quarterbacks as an option to take over the New York Jets.
So first, I don't think if Aaron Rodgers plays 4 to 5 more years, Zach Wilson probably won't be there. Why? Like, I think this is year 3 for him, you know, so like you have the rookie option. So I think unless the Jets want to go out there and pay 2 quarterbacks a massive amount of money to keep it while, you know, keep Zach Wilson until Aaron Rodgers retire, I don't think that's going to happen, okay? But in practice, you're seeing this guy every single day. You don't know what you're going to get. You just named a few guys, Josh Rosen, you just named Sam Darnold, even Zach Wilson. You go out and draft these guys in the first round, and they bust. They're bust. They turn into bust. So now you got Zach Wilson that's there learning from Aaron Rodgers, that understands your system. So I would say if Aaron Rodgers is still with the Jets 4 to 5 years from now, then probably Robert Saleh's still there, Coach Saleh's still there, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, maybe he's still there. You know, if they're having that much success, they may get plucked and they may get other gigs at the college level, maybe another head coaching gig, but the system is still the same. So now you have a guy that's been in your system for a couple of years learning behind Aaron Rodgers. That is the perfect situation, like to pass the torch to that guy than someone unknown.
I'm not even talking about it first. What about a late
also
round?
You're seeing him. So like, if you're seeing him every day making the right decisions, you're seeing his growth on and off the field. I'm going to bet with that guy than some unknown. I don't care if it's a Heisman Trophy winner because you don't know what you're going to get. This is a great discussion, but I would say this too. The last thing I would say, Ashley, and then you can, you know, respond or push the conversation forward. Zach Wilson, he has the talent, and he's in a perfect situation. And it seems like he's been humble. I think that he's going to take advantage of his time in New York behind Aaron Rodgers. And so, you know, time will tell. But if I'm going to make a bet on who's the next quarterback, I'm betting on Zach Wilson being the next quarterback for the Jets.
No. I don't disagree that he would be the next quarterback. I just don't think he's going to be the franchise quarterback. I think he would be what we thought Geno Smith was going to be in Seattle. I think that he is going to be your in-between quarterback, your transitional quarterback, your guy who, after you go ahead and you have, let's say they win a Super Bowl, you win the Super Bowl, but you're not bad enough to where you're not going to be competitive. You weren't bad enough to where you have a top draft pick, but you're not good enough to win a Super Bowl. He's going to be your quarterback.
Okay.
And that's only going to be until they find their next guy.
Right.
So I agree. He will lead the Jets at one
hard
point,
to find that
but
guy,
he's not going to be the guy.
But it's so hard to find a guy. It's so hard to find.
It
like,
is.
Y'all got, like, the Cowboys have Dak Prescott.
And you got him what?
A top 10
what round did you get him in?
Was it 4th?
It was, I believe, the 5th round.
Yeah. So, okay, you got Dak Prescott, and people are saying we don't have a quarterback. We're still looking for a guy. It's so hard to find a guy. You know, like, the quarterbacks don't grow on trees.
They don't.
You know, Zach, you know, sorry to get off topic here, but, and you know how I feel, and I did a whole little segment here, but, like, you look at Dak Prescott through the first 9-10 years and compare him to Tom Brady's numbers, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees. His numbers are right there or better than all those guys. But we're sitting here saying that he is not good, and we're ready to move on from
We
Dak
aren't
Prescott.
sitting here and saying that. You've never heard me say that.
No, I'm talking about like the sports, majority of the sports world
Okay.
is against Dak.
That's all right. They also thought Carson Wentz was better than Dak Prescott. Look at that now.
He was for 1 year, 2018.
He was never better than Dak Prescott.
2018, you would have voted for Carson Wentz if he didn't get hurt
I
for
would have
MVP.
voted for Carson Wentz?
Yes, you would have voted for
I
Carson.
would have voted for
he
Carson Wentz.
was that good in 2018.
I would have voted for a Philadelphia Eagle quarterback.
Yes, you had to. Then you're not real. Then you gotta show love as respect.
No, I absolutely do not, and I absolutely will not. Moving on.